Whole bunch of news about EVs in Canada, and not much of it is good, unfortunately. Honda scaling back plans, a charging company laying off workers, a whole bunch of real messy stuff going on, but maybe there's a silver lining at the end. Grab your popcorn, folks. This one is going to be a wild ride. I'm joined by my buddy Mark from the Tesla Life. He's here with us, as he is so often. We're going to get into it and hopefully not make too big of a mess along the way. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futurasa. So, Mark, I did tell you to get your popcorn, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
If you need help,
Yes.
the world's slowest robot can give you most of a container of popcorn after waiting 6 hours. I'm not convinced this is the best demo because you're like, yeah, but it is replacing a person. Except that guy. Yeah. There's still a guy who has to still get the popcorn holders. So, my gosh, what a world we live in, where a very slow, very expensive prototype can badly hand you popcorn through a teleoperator.
Oh, come on. It's his first time at a popcorn event. It's gonna take a while to sink in.
That's true. And this is not the latest generation. There is no way on earth they're going to be showing the latest generation. Still, I get to poke fun. The line, guys, very, very long. Don't go today. Maybe go next week.
If you go today, you will be ready for next week. That's what's going to happen if you go today.
It is. There were people out there who were waiting 6 hours in line. Aaron from abettertheater.com went ahead and brought donuts to people standing in line because he's a nice dude.
Very nice of him.
And to give you an idea of how equal we all are in this horrible waiting process, in line, having waited 6 hours, was John from Tesla Owners Silicon Valley. He was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, of course, you need something to eat 6 hours ago. We have some fun here, guys. We have some fun. Hey, don't know if you heard, global EV sales over 9 million in the first half of 2025, growing 28%.
Wow, 9 million. So we're on track to get close to 20 million annually. That's an incredible number.
Considering global sales is only 80 million, yes, it is. This chart shows China, Europe, North America, and rest of world. So North America, bit of a laggard there, the smallest slice of the pie, only beating rest of world. So that's not great, but this is happening. How do you think, 24% year on year in June compared to June of last year? How do you think the U.S. is doing?
I'm going to say it's pretty low. I'm going to say, maybe 5%?
3% is where we're at.
Oh.
Not as bad as I was expecting, honestly. Rest of world is up 40% because Chinese EVs are now being exported around the world. People are buying them. And of course, North America, and in particular Canada, is experiencing a slowdown of EV sales with Trump's latest cuts in the Big Beautiful Bill, or OBBB, or as I assume it's pronounced, because that's how smart it is. The U.S. could struggle to see any growth in the EV market in 25. Yeah.
That's not good news at all.
No, it's not great. Europe has grown 26% in the first half, with bolstered by the rise in small segment vehicles available, such as the Renault 4 and 5. And yeah, they're really pushing. Spanish market continues to excel with 85% growth year to date. Pretty good. But we've got growth in North America EV market continues to slow. Canadian market down 23%.
Off a cliff, my friend. Off a cliff.
It is.
And that's a tsunami of things happening all at the same time. We get incentives that disappeared provincially and federal. We now have these tariffs hitting the market, and that created a lot of uncertainty. And a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines now, or have already bought the EV. They've been waiting for, and now there's going to be a bit of a cycle in between when the next group comes to buy one.
I imagine Rivian and Lucid are just as impacted by the cross-border tariff as Tesla was with the Model Y.
Yeah,
And if you're going to add 20, 30% to those cars, they become unaffordable immediately.
yeah.
They're already teetering right at the edge of affordability for a lot of buyers, and not a lot because there's not a lot of buyers for those cars. This
And
same thing.
you can't blame the Canadian public for doing it, because as we just saw what happened with Tesla last week, we had a 20% drop in the price
Yeah,
overnight. Can you imagine if you had put in an order a day before that, and then realized that, oh my gosh, the price dropped by 20%? You'd be canceling your order, maybe eating that deposit,
yep.
and waiting for the price, take the next price drop instead.
I'm more concerned for the very small number of people who did buy them during the price hike. They're just upside down on their cars, and it's unfortunate. Uh, More unfortunate, I would say, is the news out of Honda. Honda postpones 11 billion EV production investment in Canada. Automakers delaying the plans by at least 2 years while seeking increased production in the US for multiple models to avoid tariffs.
There you go.
The
Tariffs
US
again.
market is bigger than the Canadian market,
Yep.
of course. Population should tell you that. But it was fine a year ago, 2 years ago. You could build them in Canada and just send them over the lake. It's not
Yeah.
that hard.
Yeah.
But
It's all changed. All topsy turvy at this point. Honda has been producing other vehicles in Canada now for a couple of decades. They have
mm-hmm.
a plant in Alliston, Ontario, which is just north of Toronto, and they have been very successful here in Ontario. But with this tariff and these changes, any automotive manufacturing has been turned on their head, because now the prices are wildly out of control, and they don't really know what's going to happen to those prices in the next year, even the next week. They really don't know.
Honda last April announced plans to invest up to 11 billion to establish the EV production hub, which included a factory with an annual output of 250,000 EVs a year and 36 gigawatt hours of battery. We have to observe what's happening and ultimately make the decision. So this is, I don't know how the decision was made to wage a trade war with not one, but all three of our largest trade partners, but it's causing problems. And now it appears we've got a $250 visitor fee, a new visa that is
Yeah,
required for absolutely everyone. And the people
really
who,
perplexing.
it's very isolationist. And the people who run tourism operations in northern states are being destroyed. They are going to be bankrupt. They have rental properties they cannot fill, and it's going to cause some problems. Hotels are struggling, tour groups are struggling. It's unfortunate, but hey man, what are you going to do? This too shall pass, like a kidney stone, like a 4-year kidney stone. So,
Oh, that's painful.
well, is it? I mean, I've never had one.
You're going to
Canada's
feel it.
flow,
You will feel it.
you will. Canada's flow to close Quebec EV charger plant, layoff 80 across Canada and US. Now, Canada's flow, I assume, is not just the north of the border version of the progressive lady. I think even though the sign does look like it's incomplete and like somebody chopped off the second half, is it supposed to say flower? What is just flow? Okay,
Well, it was Florida before the tariffs.
before the tariffs. Yeah. Well, it submerged the other half of the sign by rising sea levels.
Actually, Flow is an excellent EV charger company that has been around for about 10 years now in large capacity, and they've been successful. They've been able to produce a number of chargers that are reliable, and that is a big thing when it comes to third-party chargers, is knowing that there are reliable units out there that will be maintained and do operate. And Flow was successful at doing that.
Mm-hmm. This decision reflects several changing realities, trade tensions, shifting political dynamics, particularly in the US, is a very subtle way to put it, and inconsistent policy signals around EVs that have made long term planning extremely complex, which is another this is so Canadian in its diplomacy. I love it. Let's see, expanded to a second plant in Shawinigan. I don't know.
Shawinigan. Yep.
Wow, I got it. Added production in 22. Strong support on both sides of the border accelerated charger demand, but slow to materialize EV sales and political changes in Washington have since undercut the market. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mark. Do not go burn Washington again. You guys did it once. We let it go. Despite the shift, the company remains firmly committed to supplying chargers for the residential market, with production and deliveries of home charging stations unaffected by the layoffs. Yeah, but those are easy to get. Everybody's got those. So
yeah, but Flow again, another company that's caught in the crosshairs of this uncertainty, and they just said it in the article. They really don't know. They cannot plan for the future effectively.
Yes. So what is this? I'm just going to check this real quick. And our last bit of good news. This is good news. The actual one that is good news, if it is good news. 2026 Subaru Uncharted EV arrives with 450 plus kilometer range. 450 kilometers, of course, 279 miles.
Yeah.
If you charge to 100 and discharge to 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite there, but it's better than the B Forks. So
the Solterra and the Buzz Forks were just blech. This actually looks nice. It's not my kind of style, but I wouldn't be embarrassed to drive it the way I would a Solterra. I don't know why they decided to call it Uncharted, but I guess that's what they're doing.
But you notice they are still partnering with Toyota, so it's on the same frame as the Toyota CHR EV. Mm-hmm. So this is good news that Toyota is at least starting to move in the direction of EVs. I really can't applaud fully for them because, of course, they do a lot of stop and starts at Toyota when it comes to EVs, and I'm going to have to see the proof in the pudding before I applaud fully for Toyota.
Well, and this interior, I don't know. I guess it's a step in the right direction. I'd like a little more, but I don't know. It's fine. And some people prefer it to look like this. That's fine. So this is an improvement. I don't know how good it's going to sell, but this is also manufactured in Japan. So hopefully Canada.
No tariffs for receiving it in Canada, although in the US, I think you have a tariff against Japan already.
Well, I'm sure we have a tariff on Japanese-made vehicles, but it's not an outrageous one, and it is not. Hopefully it's not too much of a killer. The front-wheel drive has 221 horsepower. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. It's not exciting, but yeah, I really don't need all the horsepower I have. 14-inch touchscreen. It's great. It's almost as big as some people's tablets. So that's great. Last week we did a show about Canadian things. Why don't we talk about that? We're going to answer the questions. As a reminder, you are free to like that video and this one. It doesn't cost you anything to like it. You can subscribe right here and now. That would be a good use of your time as well. So do that. Why is it perplexing that GM is fighting these EV targets when it's taking a bath on every EV it sells? Thoughts, Mark?
There's a toss-up on GM when it comes to taking a bath on EV sales. Yes, they started taking a bath on them, but they have beefed up their infrastructure to try to get to a quantity that they would not be taking a bath on sales. But if they do stop making EVs and they push it back down the line again, they're always going to be in the position where they're taking a bath on initial EV sales. They've got to get out of that first round. They have to get out of it. And unfortunately, they're just calling from the old playbook, and looks like they're going to be behind the eight ball again.
Correct, as I can tell on all accounts. Look, you started making butter, but before the cream turned to butter, you stopped, and then you let it settle again and do its. You got to start from scratch. So,
Yeah.
and it's not clear that they're losing money on a per unit basis, though I suspect they are because the prices are so low. Ford was making a per unit profit, according to Sandy Munro and others. This puts that again at risk. Canada versus USA or China? Tariffs are great, and who pays for them is so confusing for those who don't believe in facts.
Mm.
I'm not sure which side this person is on, but I know which side Randy Kirk is on, and he says, no, 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 tariffs are not paid by the consumer, to which I say, you haven't seen Ferris Bueller. It's laid out very clearly by Ben Stein how tariffs work. It is a tax on the consumer. So, cool. Who gives a darn about the Canadian Dealership Association, who only caters to ICE vehicle manufacturers?
Well, I agree with the statement, but that's the only dealership association in the country, and of course they hold a bit of a megaphone because of the number of people or number of manufacturers that participate in it. So it gives them a bigger box to stand on, unfortunately. But I agree with the sentiment. I really don't care what they think, because you're right, they're just
To
interested
heck
in
with them.
ice sales.
Yeah, agreed on all points with you and the other person. Let's go to the next one here. Let's go to the next one here. Old Model Y on the thumbnail. Get with the times, Brian. Duly noted. Rosh, you know what you're doing. New Model Y, please. Somebody's phone was vibrating in the video. At least it was not a fart. Farmer Pete seems to think that this chair is a farter. And I assure you that that is something we would fix in the edit. So let's see. When human labor is wiped out in the next 5 years, what will you use for money to pay who? All money is for human labor. Being a billionaire is the same as money not existing. So it's more of a philosophical question, but do you have any thoughts on that?
I know that Elon Musk has said often that as automation starts to kick in across all manufacturing fronts, there may be some sort of universal income that has to be paid to people, because there's a lot of people that will lose their
Of course.
jobs, and because that manual labor will be eaten up by automation. So that might be a solution. It may not be a solution, but it's
Right.
something that will challenge us.
So my concern is, and I've made a video about this. It did pretty well. This was 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago, about universal basic income. And I said, we need to start thinking about it now, not acting on it, but thinking about it. We need to start the conversation now, because there will be a gap between the time we should have it and we actually do have it. There's going to be a real valley in between. And hopefully it's something that can be addressed quickly rather than millions starving or, nations being overthrown by the huddled masses, as it were. So it's tough to say. It's tough to say. Wait, the EV rebate in Canada is coming back? Tell me more, please.
Uh, PDC, we have heard rumblings, even in the media up here in Canada, that the federal rebate may be coming back in some sort of form. We don't know what form it will be. We don't know the amount, and we don't know when. But there's a lot of people that are starting to hang off purchasing anything as they wait to hear more information from this. So yeah, that's all I know.
Giga Mexico is Tesla's big miss with all these tariffs. Tesla would have been well located if built. What are your thoughts? Which tariffs would that circumvent?
Yeah, Mexico has the same tariff system that Canada does. So if a vehicle was built
Oh,
in Mexico, they would have been charged that 25% to ship that vehicle into the US.
yeah. Now, maybe they could have shipped them to Canada, but as we discussed last week, well, you could do that. Uh,
Yeah,
but but as we discussed last week, the Model Y now comes from Berlin. The Model 3 now costs as much as a Model Y. That's fun. And or more. I don't remember.
it was
But
more. Yeah.
it's more for the Model 3. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that would have helped in the tariff situation, but I still think they should have built it. Don't know if I've got anything else super critical. Oh yes, Canadian dollars are just American dollars with an A added.
Well, that's just a bonus, Luke. We just add the A for fun.
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, you know how they how to spell Canada, right?
How do they spell Canada, Brian? How do
D-A,
Americans spell it?
C-A-N-A-D-A. Pretty sure that's how it's spelled. Guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? You can ask your own questions. We obviously are not afraid to answer them. You head over to the TSLA Life, see what Mark's up to. Come join me in San Mateo for the X Takeover this weekend. I'll be there. A whole bunch of people will. It's YouTube come to life. If you enjoy YouTube, and if you don't, what are you doing? It's weird that you're watching this video. Very confusing. So, guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it into the comments below. Stay tuned and juicy. And I can't wait to hear from you, clever robots, on the flippity flop.
At the popcorn line.
I'll be there. I'll be standing in line to get popcorn probably Wednesday through, I don't know. Might be a while. But it is a 24-hour place, so maybe go in the middle of the night. I don't know.